First, it's important to know that the circulatory system is an organ system that permits blood and lymph circulation to transport nutrients. The next video that we are about to watch is going to treat the principal aspects of the circulation.
The circulatory system, consisting of the heart, arteries, capillaries, and veins, is the pumping mechanism that transports blood throughout the body. In the heart, the left ventricle contracts, pushing red blood cells into the aorta, the body's largest artery. From here, blood moves through a series of increasingly smaller arteries until it reaches a capillary, the junction between arteries and veins. Here, oxygen molecules detach from the red blood cells and slip across the capillary wall into body tissue. Now deoxygenated, blood begins its return to the heart. It passes through increasingly larger veins to eventually reach the right atrium. It enters the right ventricle, which pumps it through the pulmonary arteries into the lungs to pick up more oxygen. Oxygenated, blood re-enters the left atrium, moves into the left ventricle, and the blood's journey begins again.
The circulatory system is often seen as strictly as a blood distribution network, but some consider the circulatory system to be composed collectively of the cardiovascular system, which distributes blood, and the lymphatic system, which circulates lymph. And now we are going to talk about oxygen transportation. About 98.5% of the oxygen in a sample of arterial blood in a healthy human breathing air at sea level pressure is chemically combined with hemoglobin molecule. About 1.5% is physically dissolved in the other blood liquids and not connected to hemoglobin. The hemoglobin molecule is the primary transporter of oxygen in mammals and many other species. What are the components of the cardiovascular system? The essential components of the human cardiovascular system are the heart, blood, and blood vessels. It includes the pulmonary circulation, a loop to the lungs where blood is oxygenated, and the systemic circulation, a loop to the rest of the body to provide oxygenated blood. And now we're going to have a video about the pulmonary and systemic circulation.
The circulatory system in man. Blood is the national highway of our body, transporting various substances through it. It circulates in an organized manner through defined channels, the blood vessels. Arteries, capillaries, and veins form the circulatory routes. The two main types of circulation are pulmonary and systemic. Both these types of circulation keep the oxygenated blood separate from the deoxygenated one. Let us first track the pulmonary circulation. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the superior and inferior vena cava. Blood leaves the right atrium and enters the right ventricle when the atrium contracts. The right ventricle pumps it to the lungs through the pulmonary trunk. In the right and left lungs, the blood gets oxygenated by exchange of gases through the thin walls of the capillaries. The blood now leaves the lungs and returns to the left atrium through the pulmonary veins. Notice that the right side of the heart acts as the receiving and pumping center of deoxygenated blood.
Closed cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system of humans are closed, meaning that the blood never leaves the network of blood vessels. In contrast, oxygen and nutrients diffuse across the blood vessel layers and enters interstitial fluid, which carries oxygen and nutrients to the target cells and carbon dioxide and waste in the opposite direction. The other component of the circulatory system, the lymphatic system, is not closed. An average adult contains 5 to 6 quarters, roughly 4.7 to 5.7 liters of blood, accounting for approximately 7% of their total body weight. Blood consists of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. What is going to be the circulatory system development? The development of the circulatory system initially occurs by the process of vasculogenesis. The human arterial and venous systems develop from different embryonic areas. While the arterial system develops mainly from the aortic arches, the venous system arises from three bilateral veins during weeks 4 and 8 of human development.
Do you know about the cardiovascular system? At the center of the cardiovascular system is the heart, which is a muscle about the size of your fist, located to the left of the middle of your chest. Your heart pumps the blood through the body's
arteries and veins. Oh, I love arteries and veins.
The blood carries the oxygen and nutrients that the body needs and carries away the carbon dioxide and chemical waste so that the body can get rid of them. This movement of the blood through the heart and the blood vessels of the body is called circulation.
The pulmonary circulatory system is a portion of the cardiovascular system in which oxygen-depleted blood is pumped away from the heart via the pulmonary artery to the lungs and returned oxygenated to the heart via the pulmonary vein. Systemic circulation is the circulation of the blood to all parts of the body except the lungs. What are going to be the measurement techniques? First, we have electrocardiogram for cardiac electrophysiology, a sphygmomanometer and stethoscope for blood pressure, pulse meter for cardiac function, heart rate, rhythm, drop beats. Pulse commonly used to determine the heart rate in absence of certain cardiac pathologies. Heart rate variability used to measure variations of these intervals between heartbeats, and nail bed blanching tested for perfusion.
It transfers oxygen, food, collects waste, travels, it moves. The blood is moving in tubes, and now it circulates. The heart is an organ which never gets tired or quits. Into 4 parts it is split, but it will circulate. That blood is moving in, out, chambers flowing, top to same for lower. Where you think it's going, baby? Heart, upper part 2, undergo atria, ventricle slower. Circulatory, lungs made of red light, cells and platelets, moving in plasma. Circulatory, in vessels, blood roots, pulling arteries, capillaries flowing. Circulatory, that divides into 4. Groups A, R, B, keep it together. Circulatory. Made up of cells, plasma that platelets so small. Using spectrums that's hollow, controls your temperature. Blood flows from the arteries, too smaller